Good afternoon. This is Cub reporter Ken Cordero coming to you live out of Middletown, Rhode Island, in the United States of America. The date is 7/19/2012 AD. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining in. My email is kencordero@americanonline.com. That's kencordero@americanonline.com. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to start at the top with our Muslim President Barack Hussein Obama. He continually tries to be the new dictator of the United States of America. In his speech last week, where he told us, if you work hard, and you've got a business, and you work like every day, 12, 13, 14 hours a day, you didn't get that by yourself. It was the government that made you successful. Because you used the roads. Just because we pay for them with taxes, that doesn't matter to the president. Why is this guy not being impeached? Why is he even running for office? This guy should be in prison. Him and his other conspiracy, Eric Holder. These guys, Eric Holder, the president, might as well throw Bernanke in there too, him and our tax cheat head of the IRS, Geithner. You know, what the Congress wants Holder to turn over information about Fast and Furious, where one of our border guards died. He just stonewalls, doesn't give it to him, and jerks him around. And the president goes, oh, well, I'll use an executive order. She said, how can this country possibly survive when it's come out completely against itself? The president has come out against every American citizen. He talks about taxes for millionaires and billionaires. But when he starts putting the price of that at $250,000, that's like saying, you've got $1, we're only going to tax you if you have $1, but since you have a quarter, we're going to tax you. Of course, the president never really passed high school. He was just in a drug-induced stupor, which, you know, that's fine. If you want to go party, I don't really care. But this guy should be in prison, though. He's got no idea what he's doing on foreign policy. Let me tell you, Hillary should be there too. Hillary Clinton, our Secretary of State. They just had an article about her, how many miles she's flown around the world, or this or that. She's pathetic too. Okay. Now, from our president, who's pathetic, every one of my representatives, I am not represented by anybody in government. Whatever happened to limited government? That's when I grew up, I was taught we had limited government. Freedom from government intrusion in our lives. You know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There is not one thing I can do in my life without having the government in my face. I can't go down the beach without looking at 100 signs telling me no parking, no parking. No, you can't go here, this is for the birds. No, this is a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Refuge area. Just because there's a lot of mosquitoes and stuff in there, and you don't want to go in there, you can't. Make sure your dog's on a leash. These people don't like dogs either. You know, dogs, man's best friend. Dog G, D-O-G. God, capital G-O-D, God, dog, D-O-G, man's best friend. Man was made in the image of God, but no, they don't like dogs either, because they might disturb the piping plovers and the lease terns. When did one animal get more rights than another animal? Can you please explain this to me? Of course, these people think animals have more rights than you. So I'm not really quite sure about that. Now let's see the next thing. Now let's go locally, and we're going to my favorite town, Newport, Rhode Island. My next door neighbor here. Here we go. As our country continually tries to enslave the American citizens with our dictator president, and the help from his always helpful Environmental Protection Agency. These guys, they got a nice little square down in Newport, Queen Anne Square, a nice little park. It's been a park for like, I don't know, 20, 25 years. Now they want to redo it. But of course, more testing is needed by the EPA before they can turn grass into more grass. In the June 28th letter addressed to NRF Executive Director Peter Roos with copies to city and state officials, DEM revises the scope of work for the park project. In particular, the letter states that soil samples taken from polychlorinated biophenol analysis, PCB analysis, should be screened using a photoseismic detector, and that if elevated readings are found to be present, a sample from that location should also be tested for total petroleum hydrocarbons. Also in the letter, the DEM requests that in addition to the 2 groundwater monitoring wells already specified in the proposal, another well may be added in the southeast corner of the park to test for potential historic releases to groundwater from the gas station formerly located at the corner of Spring and Mill Street. DEM also states that a well shown on historic maps of the site should be located and its water sampled and evaluated for the presence of separate phase product using an interface probe. Prior to the testing, DEM notes NRF is required to notify all abutters that further investigation is about to occur, including its purpose and approximate date. The DEM letter is signed by Joseph T. Martella II, Senior Engineer at the DEM's Office of Waste Management. This place is a park. You know, nobody's going to be drinking water from there. So they want to test it to see if there's any chemicals left over from 100 years ago. You know, these people got to go. It's a joke. How can you be free with these people telling you what to do? Or their new one, lead paint. Don't forget lead paint. You know, if you're in a house like built in the early 70s or 60s, I mean, you're in danger because there's lead in the paint. I grew up in a house like that. You know when it's dangerous? If you eat it. If you scrape it off the walls and you eat it. That's when it's dangerous. But they put like every contractor in the country through lead paint removal courses or something. It's like fucking $200-300. This is ridiculous. And another thing, now in Middletown they want to they want to test. They want to be able to chemically test every student to see if they've been drinking. They want to make this mandatory, and these people all think it's okay. Whatever happened to your right? Dum-da-dum, dum-da-dum. Like the Fourth Amendment, the rights of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place and seizure and the persons to be or things to be seized. These kids are going to a dance. If you think they've been drinking, you don't need a law. You don't need to chemical breathalyze them. Ask them. And if you can't tell that they've been drinking by just talking to them, well, let them in. This is unbelievable. This is just unbelievable. Okay. Now let's try and finish up on some good news here for a while for this 25th edition. I'm being sponsored today by 2400 Degrees F, which is fine jewelry and collectibles made by Christina Curtin out of Mystic, Connecticut. Now Christina's number is 1-860-463-4631. If you'd like to have some fine jewelry, earrings, call Christina. Now I'd also like to let you know that I've recently been hired by St. Joseph's Press as an investigator club reporter. Thank you, St. Joseph. And hopefully I can do a good job. One thing I'm going to do, I believe, is I'm going to go over and talk to the people at Salday about their gay and lesbian club, because this, I think, is quite offensive to St. Joseph's wife. So I'm going to try and do something about that, ask them some questions. You know, instead of going, yeah, fine, let's have a lesbian, gay, transgender club. I can't even say it. I mean, if you want to be gay, fine, but don't. If you want to come to a Catholic school, at least try not to be. And if you are, how about like maybe like not having sex with a gay man? Just like you're not supposed to be having sex with girls there. So I've been hired by St. Joseph's Press. She's sponsoring me. And I'm also going to be talking to the police chief, because in Middletown we can't go down the beach at night. And I went and I talked to the town council about that. They told me, of course, it was public safety. Of course it's always for your own good. But the police chief, he was kind enough to give me his card, so I'm going to be calling him in the next week or so, trying to find out if there's anything he can do so we can go down the beach at night. Because why should your rights as an American citizen stop because the sun goes down? These people in government, they always want to take away your rights and give them to everybody else. And it's gotten to the point where we don't have a country anymore. It's gone. But if you speak up, it's your fault. You're bad. And I'm not represented by anyone here in my government at all. In the town of Middletown, in the state of Rhode Island, in my country, they just want to give it away. So, with that, I'm ending this edition of Ken Cordero, Cub Reporter. Thank you for tuning in.